John is a German Marshall Fund Fellow. He's also a veteran and a US Marine. And he's a founder of a nonprofit organization in Houston, in Texas. And he will speak more about that. And I think he will have some remarks, and we can move on to our panel discussions, finally. Thank you. Дякую.
Good morning. In Texas, we say howdy, and everyone says howdy back. So howdy from Texas. My name is John Boerstler. As Lesia mentioned, I served in the United States Marine Corps. So like all Marines, I can only count to maybe 4 or 5 if I'm lucky. So I'm going to hit on 3 major points to keep it short and sweet so we can take a quick administrative break so we allow our leaders to return to work. Thank you very much, ministers, for being here. Your presence is deeply appreciated, and of course your support of the veteran community in Ukraine is amazing. And then we can bring up our first expert panel. But real quick, I wanted to also remark that you know, we have a bunch of different things going on today. I'm going to serve as your MC for the rest of the conference, and I'm honored to do so. And I hope that the translation folks are that I'm not talking too fast, but in case the international attendees, ever wanted to know what your name looks like in Ukrainian, you now know. This is a fantastic souvenir, so Dякую from our Ukrainian friends. So how all this came about, through the German Marshall Fund, as Philip mentioned earlier, I made several trips to some of our partner countries in Denmark and the United Kingdom, of which we have several representatives and several leaders here representing, and basically to look at their systems and how they reintegrated veterans and how they transitioned them successfully into civilian life. And some very interesting and I think powerful programs that were put into place by the state in partnership with private organizations as well became very good models. And we took some of these important lessons learned back to the United States, and we're able to implement them at the community level. So I'm from Houston, Texas. We're the second largest population of veterans, right behind Los Angeles, which Dr. Castro will be speaking in the next panel, and we can tell you a little bit about Los Angeles. And we have some severe challenges in reintegrating our veterans into society because we don't have a large military installation. We don't have folks walking around in uniform every day, so our population's not used to that. So we were able to build a community-based transition system that eventually became Combined Arms, which is truly a public-private partnership that involves 30 different NGOs, and governmental entities, including the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, the Department of Labor, state agencies, and local municipal government agencies to work together in collaboration to ensure that we accelerate the impact of veterans on our community. So you notice that I didn't say anything about helping veterans with social services and care. No, we want to accelerate the impact of veterans on our community. Because as Philip mentioned earlier, veterans are great agents of social change and will be leaders potentially of this country one day. And I think we need to foster that so that can become a great reality. So what we learned is we had a highly fragmented social sector serving veterans, and we essentially conducted a market roll-up of that into one single point of entry, so a transition center, which our friends at the Veterans Hub are putting together in real time here in Kyiv, which is very exciting. An integrated technology backbone system that would allow organizations to refer veteran clients to one another, and then we would hold those organizations accountable for their response time, for their speed and efficiency at which they deliver those services to veterans. So kind of flipping the entire social sector, the supporting veterans on its head and holding organizations accountable kind of blows everyone's mind, but it's the absolute right thing to do. And we've gotten 42 organizations to sign on to this. And finally, we collaborate with each other by convening, and the power of convening is also present in Los Angeles, our sister city, where you bring together these large numbers of stakeholders in programmatic verticals like employment and professional growth, or health and mental health care, or family support and social connectivity, some of the programmatic pillars that you will hear from later today, that we can share these best practices and experiences with each other. And that's why we're here. So why Ukraine? Why have all of our friends come from thousands of miles to be here, to be with you, to support and share and collaborate with you? As you've mentioned, you've heard the metrics. Hundreds of thousands of people that have been mobilized in support of the war effort, not just the fighting, but all of the support mechanisms that are needing to be successful to counter Russian aggression and to fight on the frontier of democratic values. Is something that we haven't done as a Western society in many years. And I applaud our Ukrainian friends and colleagues for everything you do every day. But here, just like there is in the UK, in the United States, and in Denmark, there are highly fragmented social services. And by conducting a market roll-up in the Ministry of Veterans Affairs in partnership with the NGO and private sectors, I think is the only way to truly achieve success. So my mission here is to get you, the experts, the international experts, invested in Ukraine, and to share and partner and mentor and be a family with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters that serve veterans as they transition from military to civilian life. And of course, with the formation of the Ministry of Veterans Affairs, the first of its kind in Europe, it's kind of historic for all of us who work in this industry every day to be a part of it and be present and help and support in any way we can. We collectively in the international attendees have made a lot of mistakes, particularly in the last 15 years since 9/11. And if we can help several organizations at least once or twice from learning from those mistakes so that you don't have to make them as well, then I think that we've accomplished a great mission and we can continue to move forward and be successful. So what have we done? We've done 3 site visits to Ukraine with some of our experts. We've conducted 3 focus groups here locally throughout the past year. We've conducted 7 online webinars that do trainings in those programmatic verticals with international experts and Ukrainian experts sharing best practices. We've done 20 different conference Skype calls as well, attended by over 60 different Ukrainian experts and program managers and over 100 international experts. And then all of you are here today. So if that is a great output, then I think that we can achieve a great outcome of helping form the ministry and being a partner on that as we move forward. So in closing, we're going to take a 5-minute administrative break so that we can allow our leaders to get back to work across the street, and then allow our first panel to come up. So if you need to use the restroom, please do so, but I would encourage you to come immediately back. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge our international folks. If you came from outside of Ukraine to be here today and tomorrow, please raise your hand real quick so we can show how supportive the international community is of our friends here in Ukraine. And if you have served this country, if you have served Ukraine in uniform, or if you have supported soldiers in any way, please raise your hands. Well, thank you all for your service. Thank you for being here. And with that, thank you very much, Lesia, for being such a great partner. Our leaders, ministers, thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of this. And we'll take a quick 5-minute administrative break, and I invite our first panel to come up. Thank you.